Welcome to Crime and Nonsense. Today we're going to be talking about a rather odd history event that still really can't be explained today, but we're going to try. So let's set the scene for you. Church bells echoed through the streets of Strasbourg while rain dripped from the rooftops and onto empty cobblestone below. Where in the middle of the city, one woman would not stop dancing. At first, people thought she was celebrating, but then hours passed into the night and she kept moving. Her feet slammed against the cobblestone roads until they bled. Her body twisted violently, and no matter what anybody said, she could not stop. Within days, dozens joined her, then hundreds. Some collapsed where they stood, some died from exhaustion. Nobody understood why. There was no festival, there was no music, no celebration, only fear. Because in the summer of 1518, the city of Strasbourg experienced one of the strangest mass hysteria events ever recorded, the Dancing Plague. To really understand the Dancing Plague, you first have to understand Strasbourg itself. In 1518, Strasbourg was part of the Holy Roman Empire. Life inside the city was brutal, disease spread constantly, food shortages were common. Most people lived close to starvation. Religion shaped nearly every part of the daily life. People believed sickness could be caused by curses, or sin, or punishment from God. The years leading up to the outbreak had been especially harsh. Famine had swept through the regions. Disease spread through nearly every nearby town. Poverty grew worse, and across Europe, many believed the world itself had become cursed. The people of Strasbourg, they were emotionally, physically, and spiritually just exhausted. And under enough fear, something inside the city finally broke. Most historical records identify the first dancer as a woman known as Frau Trophea. One morning in July, she stepped onto the streets and began to dance. At first, witnesses were confused. There was no music, no crowd, no celebration. She just kept dancing, hour after hour, body twisting violently, sweat pouring down her face. Her husband reportedly begged her to come back inside. Neighbors watched from windows in horror, but nothing worked. She danced through the day, then through the night, and the next day, and within a week, doctors, priests, city officials realized something terrifying. The behavior was spreading. More people began to dance, too. Then, the authorities had made a decision that sounds unbelievable today. Rather ridiculous. They encouraged the dancing. The city leaders believed the victims suffered from overheated blood, and according to the local medical beliefs, the only cure was to let the dancers continue until the sickness left their bodies, like a full-out rave. So they just cleared public spaces, hired musicians, drummers played in the streets, stages were built across the city, and the dancers were told to keep moving. It was a disaster. The music only made the hysteria spread faster. More people joined, more collapsed, and Strasbourg transformed into a nightmare. Imagine the scene, church bells ringing through the summer storms, bodies twisting uncontrollably beneath torchlight, priests preaching about divine punishment, and exhausted dancers collapsing onto blood-stained cobblestone while musicians just played along their happy tune. To the people of Strasbourg, this wasn't simply an illness. Many believed the dancers had been cursed by Saint Vitus. Across medieval Europe, Saint Vitus was associated with seizures, strange movement, and uncontrollable dancing. People believed he could punish sinners by forcing them to endless movement. And in 1518, superstition wasn't separate from reality. They believed it. It was reality to them. People genuinely believed divine forces controlled disease, famine, and death, and fear itself may have fueled the outbreak, because under enough pressure, the human mind can do terrifying things. More than 500 years later, historians still debate what actually happened in Strasbourg. One theory claims that the victims were poisoned by an ergot fungus, a toxic mold that grows on rye bread. The chemicals inside ergot are related to LSD and can cause hallucinations and convulsions, but many historians reject this explanation. The symptoms don't fully match, and the victims reportedly danced for days without stopping. And today, the most accepted explanation is something even more unsettling, just mass psychological illness, or better known as mass hysteria. Most people in Strasbourg lived under overwhelming pressure. from disease, starvation, religious fear, constant anxiety, and an environment where people deeply believe curses were real, terror itself may have become just as contagious. Eventually, the outbreak faded. The streets of Strasbourg grew quiet again. The damage was done, though. The dancing plague had become one of the strangest events in recorded history. And even today, nobody can really truly explain it. There are only theories, and perhaps that's what makes the story so disturbing. The dancing plague forces us to confront a terrifying possibility that under enough fear, enough desperation, enough psychological pressure, human beings can lose control together. And the people of Strasbourg believe that they witnessed a curse. Modern historians call it mass hysteria. And somewhere between fear, faith, and madness, an entire city danced itself into history. This has been Crime and Nonsense. Thank you for hanging out with me today. Hit that like button, subscribe, leave a comment. I'd love to hear your feedback. Till next time.